Hey guys, I'm really excited about this summer because we have great GI stories to tell you. We've got some really interesting guns to show you. But out of the blue, we got a call from a family of a collector who's about an hour away who said, "We have two safes in our garage that have not been opened in 8 years. Would you like to come over and assess what's inside?" And I got a great idea. Why don't you come with me? So again, I know it was the family of the collector, and I've sold guns to this person many, many years ago, and I know he liked nice stuff. He collected nice stuff. But still, when somebody says, "I have two safes, they're in the garage," and that's not usually a great environment for safes, and said that the safes have not been opened in 8 years, you kind of wonder, what am I going to find? It reminds me, and if you're as old as I am, you'll remember this, Geraldo Rivera. He did a special, I think it was on CNN, where he had Al Capone's safe. And they hyped it up for months. And finally, the night, it was on a Sunday night, and everybody was supposed to watch. And it was an hour-long show where they just built up this big crescendo. In the end, they opened the safe, and yes, it was completely empty. Well, I'm sure that's not what we're going to find, but I'm a little bit worried about the condition of the guns after all these years. It's been so long that they didn't even know the combination to the safe, but they were able to have a locksmith come over and open them up. So we're going to drive over there now. I don't know what we're going to find, but I'm really excited, and I'm really glad that you can come with us. Now, if you have a heart condition, you need to not watch this. I do take medication for my heart just to keep the arteries all going well. So I have to take it easy. I'm going to get a little bit excited. But if you think you can stand it, come along with me because I can't wait. All right, we have arrived at our destination. Just like Geraldo, we do have a bunch of empty boxes here. These are all empty, just so you guys are getting excited about, oh, there's a lot of guns here. The guns are in the safes. There's the two safes that I mentioned. So we're going to dig our way back in there. Now, a locksmith was here before we got here, and these have been opened up. So we just have to open them and see what's inside. So this is exciting, guys. Stay tuned. Oh, look at that. Holy crap. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and load up the car and talk to you later. A Black Widow. There's a Black Widow. We got ourselves, this should be a CZ. No, oh, look at that. There's a Black Widow HSC. That's not something you see every day. And there's a quick PPK. This one is Doral, I can tell by the finish. That's a Doral. And there's something in here. That's just the right size box for a PPK, wouldn't you say? One of my favorites. Ooh, this is a special one. 1920 range, so that puts it in the party leader block. Okay, I'm going to move this out of the way because we haven't gotten to the safe yet. That's the big reveal. Okay, we're ready to open the safes. Kurt's not mic'd, so I'll do the talking, but we have not looked in here, probably been 10 years. So you get that one, I get that one. I hear we crank it. There it goes. Aha! I said there won't be any rifles, but that is pretty exciting. My heart's pounding. Just imagine you're here right now. I will say there's a lot of room here. I'm a little disappointed. I'm joking, of course, but there is a lot of room here. So what we're gonna do is take everything out and we're gonna lay it on a table over to my right. And at least you'll get an overview of what we found in these two safes. And then the next step is to take it all back to Legacy. It's all gotta be logged in and figure out a way to best sell these items. This was not in the safe, but off to the side. It's very heavy. I could do my curls with it. But this is a practice round for an M1 Abrams depleted uranium something or other. And it's from Fort Knox, says right here. So that's just a random thing. And somebody out there is going to say, oh, I'd like that. So now Kurt and I are going to lay the guns out. We're just getting started here, but this one stood out. I opened it up, and it's obviously Army surplus, but from April of '58. And it's got an Ithaca slide. I see a Springfield Armory proof, and it is an X serial number. So put together after the war, but a pretty rare item. We'll set this over here. And there's a whole lot more. You see we found an M1. This environment is a little bit humid, but we'll be cleaning these guns up later. Yeah, nobody's going to want this. You see the Duelite finish and Union switch and signal. Just absolutely gorgeous gun. This is incredible. Pardon me if my hands shake a little bit. Here we have a 1940, excellent condition. And it looks like it has one matching magazine. We'll set this over here. Let's keep the Germans away from the Americans. You know, these guys, they get mad at each other. He's going to start shooting him. So we try to keep them separated. Okay, so I'm just going to take some stuff over there. We got some box guns. Try to keep up. This is like an adrenaline rush, really. Woo! Look at that. I can barely, I just have to take some time off here. But let's keep going. Working up a sweat, Randy. Where's the young guys? So far, this has been way beyond my expectations, so. OMG. Sorry, guys, this one's gonna have to stay with me. I'm fine. Okay, we have gotten through the first safe. Actually, this is, there's even more than this, just from the first safe. So what I see here is an eclectic collector because we have H&K pistols, several. Then we have these Colts. These are the officer's model. We do have some 1911s. I already showed you this one with a Beretta here, another H&K. Some of this has gotten a little bit moldy, but if you watch my videos, you know how to clean that up really well. And maybe he was a neo-Nazi. No, I'm joking, of course. But there is a copy of Mein Kampf, and there are people who really appreciate having one. These were often given to couples when they got married. And this one is signed, and I don't know the person. But it does not say Adolf Hitler. So a copy of Mein Kampf was in the safe. Not something that I want, but somebody out there is going to want to grab that right away. Then we have, this is interesting because it is import marked. It's in a post-war box. You see the, here's the top. You see the top of the box here, and that's a post-war box. But this is a wartime Waffen-proofed PP. It has the reddish grips, which is kind of cool. It's excellent condition, and then import marks. So it came in after the end of the war sometime, actually after 1986. Let's see, I mentioned this one, I believe. Yeah, this is a 9mm. I'm wearing the gloves because it really helps to wipe these down. That's a very nice 9mm. See, the frosting comes back because it's a little bit humid here. And here's another red grip. PP. This one is not Waffen-proofed. And back here, I have a very early gun. I can tell this is the X grip because they're a little short. You see how it doesn't come all the way up to the top, 90 degree, large ring, extended barrel, reversed serial number or upside down serial number. So this is a very early gun. This was an empty box, so we'll have to see if we can find the gun, but it's a very late PPK. And speaking of late, this box is late war. And that's a late war manual. And it comes with a PPK with a gray grip, Police Eagle C. This you saw me carry out. It is a late war box to a P38. Often these will be commercial guns or very, very late, meaning the GIs picked it up in the factory. They got the box, they got the accessories, and let's see if this is a GI pickup. No, it's all matching in the C block. So actually, it could have been in the factory, but it was made in April. That was when the factory was taken over, April of 1945. So this was one of the last ones made and has the original box. Kind of cool. Now we go to a Colt. You Colt collectors will like this one. High polish finish. It has the CSR inspector. There's some wear on the front strap, but these are getting really hard to find. You do see the wooden grips, which is correct for this variation. I already showed you the Luger with the matching mag. That was in 1940. Yeah, you know, this looks like a baby Dragoon. I don't know these very well, and they never come in any kind of condition. So this is, oopsie. You ever get a wedgie? Well, these wedges are supposed to stay in, and I'll figure that out later. We'll keep moving along. This is a Springfield Armory. Should have a big eagle on this side. There it is. Big Eagle, U.S. Army. Post-war P38. I'll have to go through that. Oh, you know what? It's light, so that's going to be Doral. Here's a post-war Walther. Huh, that wasn't what I expected. That's a P5. So that's unusual, a little more modern. This box got a little smashed, but there we have, oh, I think this is the, no, not a 9mm. This is a 7.65, beautiful finish. In a matching box. 1903 Colt right here. And then everybody loves the Black Widow. And this would be what I call a Black Widow HSC. I just made that up. Speaking of HSCs, here's the HSC with the Kriegsmarine marking. Excellent, look at the finish on that. This is a beautiful find. Notice how shiny and delicious that looks. This, nobody really cares. Sorry to Greg, who collects these. Greg, you know your last name. I won't say it. At Allentown, he collects these flare guns, and I don't. 22 caliber has to be late war because this was never finished. And sure enough, it's in the 430. So that's the 430,000 range. That was the very end of the war. Actually 1944, so I should say this is the very end of production. Same as these two. These are both Doral, lightweight, you can feel it, but this one is a Police Eagle F, and this one is commercial, both in very good condition. Remember the last one was 430,000 range. This is 429 and 428, so this is right at the end. This is going to be a 9mm, and I can tell right away because you can tell because it has the bottom release. This is a Luftwaffe holster, and it has a Luftwaffe proof right here. Can't really see it very well, but this 9mm with the Waffen stamps was a Luftwaffe contract. It does not come with a matching mag, but it is a Luftwaffe gun brought home at the end of the war. This is also Doral, I can tell by the finish, and has the wrong grips. This is 417,000, should have a black grip on it, and that's an easy fix. These are later replicas of the 1911 and the single action Army, and this is an empty holster. But I'm sure there's a gun to go with it. Okay, on the table now we have most of the remaining guns, although I had a lot of duplicates on things like single action armies, and so we just put those away. But I tried to get a nice assortment of this collection. As I mentioned before, very eclectic. You remember this. This was the round from the M1 Abrams. That's the biggest caliber we have. And here's the smallest one. I don't know if this is the correct box. It could be. If it is, it was pretty, I don't see a Walther banner on it, but this is a Model 9 Walther. It's got kind of a plum finish. But let's go over from left to right. Right off the bat, we see these U.S. Marine Corps. Some of you are familiar with these. I think we have on our site right now consecutive numbers, but these were surplus. They went to the U.S. Marines for Iraq, the war in Iraq. And then the U.S. Marines, they sold them off to the public, and when they did, they crossed out the U.S. Marine Corps. But everybody can see that it was issued to the U.S. Marine Corps. And this is the sand motif to go with the war in the desert. This is a 1940 Krieghoff. There you see Krieghoff, 1940. Absolutely beautiful gun. Look at the shine on that. There's the serial number. Oh, and this comes with a Black Widow magazine, which it would have come with a Krieghoff magazine that would be numbered to the gun. But I wanted you to see that. That's a 1940 Krieghoff. Absolutely beautiful. Speaking of Krieghoffs, here is another 1940. Oh, you know what? This is important. Look at the serial number. Ends in 57. And this serial number ends in 58. These are consecutive numbers, and this one does have a Krieghoff magazine, close, but not numbered to the gun. So 2 consecutive numbered Krieghoffs came with this group. Here is another Luger, a 4142. That's that's a KU. KU, which is a rare gun. A lot of you are looking for that. Look at the nice grip straps, and then it also has an L2 proof. Probably went to the Luftwaffe. Then we have 3 Liberators. They're 45 caliber, single shot. Here's a single action Army. Some of them are US marked. This one is not, but that's a nice Colt single action Army. Now we see these 2 flintlocks. This one is actually US, and this one is British. And we could do a duel, hold them up like that, take 10 paces and turn and fire. So 2 original flintlocks. Now, speaking of Krieghoff, they had a post-war. Most of you know that after the war was over, the GIs wanted souvenirs in 1945. So we have a couple. This one, it doesn't say Krieghoff, it's blank. But I can tell from the numbering, it's called a PX gun. I've done a video on these before. So that large number there, you can see the Krieghoff stamps. So it's a late war gun, but it was put together post-war and sold to the GIs as a souvenir. This is the same thing, not marked here. Not even proof marks, but that's an end of war. There was a serial number, here it is. Right here it says number 14. That's a post-war Krieghoff GI souvenir. And I think there was one right here. Yeah, look how big that font is, number 45. Again, a post-war Krieghoff put together. Oh, this one does have the logo. Post-war Krieghoff. This one has a star, which means it was a commercial gun. But these are, again, just put together from parts. Those are all Krieghoffs. This is a cutaway. So it's a Luger, and for training purposes, the factory would do these cutaways and show the internal workings. And this has it looks like a number 1, but I believe this is Persian, and that is a Persian mark. But you can see this cutaway, pretty rare. And the magazine, no, that's cutaway there, but they all are. But it gives you an idea. The inner workings. Now, speaking of Krieghoff, here's an S code. Look how nice that finish is. Front strap, back strap. It does have a Krieghoff magazine, but not matching. Now, he also has some nice Colts, and as we look around the table, you'll see some Colt 45s. This one is got a light Parkerized finish, needs a magazine, but it's a pretty standard Colt from World War II. And then a 1905, which is a popular pistol. Look at the serial number, 381. So that's a very early 1905. Here's another Colt. This one's a revolver, but it's a 1917. Let me get the lanyard out of the way. There you go, model 1917. And look how beautiful that one is. It does have the stallion, and this one was U.S. Army issued, probably for World War I, but they also used them in World War II. There's an inspector proof there. Verkromp PP, beautiful gun. And here's a box PPK in the original box. As I remember, this is a late war gun. It's Doral, and there's the box numbered to the gun. Here's a single action Army. It's going to be US marked. I think it's an artillery model. It is. And here's another one, both of them US marked. So these were military marked. They will have a cartouche on the grips, but they almost always are worn off, so you can't really see those. We're going to keep moving along. Here's a Japanese gun. I also have a Type 14. This is a Type 94. These are all considered suicide guns because they go off by themselves. I've done a video about that. I won't go into it, but it does give the date. The 19 would mean that it was from 1944. Let's see if it has a matching magazine. The serial number is right here, and you see it ends with 279, and this looks like 279. So that's how you can tell if it has a matching magazine. Two beautiful PPKs. This one is Doral. This one is commercial. Yeah, those are both late 1944. Here's a box Sauer, 1913 Sauer. I already showed you an early 1911. This one is early. I think it's from about 1912 or 13. It has the early logo, half moon rear sight. It's got the lanyard on the bottom. So just an early, probably 1913, 1911. Here's a box Sauer 38H. Kind of hard to find original in the box, and it would be commercial because the commercial guns would come in an original box, whereas the military ones were issued generally in crates. This is a U.S. firearms, which is basically a replica of a 1911. Good thing I have my gloves. I'll wipe off all the schmutzies. But you see the fire blue. They're just beautifully made guns. They used to be fairly cheap because they're replicas. But the prices are going up, the packaging is beautiful, and the finish is absolutely beautiful. If I can reach across the table, I'll show you a beautiful broom handle. This is a 1920 contract, actually. I like these grips on here. It's kind of a Bakelite. And there's the stock. I believe the stock matches the gun. But if you look at the finish on the gun, absolutely beautiful with some fire blue right here. Let's try not to bang this around too much, but we got to keep moving. Let's see. Speaking of, well, I wasn't speaking of, but here's an HSC, or again, the black grips, late HSC, late war HSC. Aha, party leader. Party leader holster, marked PPK with a party leader grip. And this does have some cracking on it, but this one probably will not be offered because I already have somebody in mind for this gun who is on a waiting list. So very nice party leader in this collection. Also a chromed, this is aluminum frame, chrome, 1944, and that is original. There you go. It's hard to photograph because it's so shiny. This, I don't know what it is. If you know, comment. I think it might be a star. Well, it has a star on it, but it might be a star or Astra. I'm not sure what model. Somebody can comment and let us know. There's an odd-looking pistol. Again, very eclectic. We did all those. I've got some M1 carbines. You can see they have the later sights. These two have the bayonets. This probably is original configuration. These other two were reworked probably for the Korean War era. Then I have, there's another Mauser HSC. This one is Navy. It's very early because it's 701. Oh, low grip screw. I was going to say 701, that should be a low grip screw. How about that? That's a that's a low grip screw, and that's a Navy. So that makes it extremely valuable. And you can see how nice the finish is. So I actually missed that when I took it out of the safe. And all it is, instead of, where's another one? Instead of the screw being here, it's down here. And that's only the first about 1,000, and that's the correct serial number for that range. There's one here that was, this is a phosphate HSC with the black grip. That's pretty rare. It's a PP holster. But there is a PP here that's, I think, experimental, if I can, oh yeah. Not sure what the purpose of that is, but that's an experimental late war PP. If you know why they did that, write to me and let me know in the comments. Okay, some P38s, dual tones. This is not police. This is actually it only has one military proof, so it's probably made in SVW 45. I was going to say probably made in 45. Looks like an all phosphate P38. Here's another one. It looks like an all phosphate P38, SVW 45. This one is post-war 46, and that's the French, that's aluminum grips, but it's made for the French at the end of the war. They took over that factory and made some guns for their own police force. This is a beautiful 1916 Navy. However, the finish looks too good to be true, so I'm going to say this one has been refinished, but it is a beautiful Navy from 1916. Here is the Type 14 Nambu I mentioned briefly. Type 14 Nambu. Notice the grips, they're smooth. That means this is probably from about 1945. And there it is, January of 1945. Looks like a Black Widow, BYF 41. It is a Black Widow. This one, look how beautiful the finish is on this. Let's focus on that for a minute. This is a 1936 Mauser. You can see this side, how beautiful it is. It does not have a matching mag. Front strap, back strap, beautiful grips. Look how beautiful that is. This collector had very good taste. This looks like my last gun on the table. And that is a Doral PPK from about 1941 with a beautiful Aka holster, spare magazine. You can see the Aka logo here. And that's the last one on the table. Okay, this is the day after, because to be honest with you, we were there from 11 in the morning till about 4:30 in the afternoon. I was completely exhausted. It was about 85 degrees outside, 80% humidity. So we were exhausted at the end of the day. But my overall impressions, first of all, phenomenal find, much better than I expected. I kind of tamped down my expectations, but what's amazing about this collection is the quality of the items we found. Now, we only found one refinished gun that I can remember, and that was this Navy. This Navy is absolutely beautiful, 1916 Navy. It's hard to tell, but this has been refinished, very, very well done. That was the only refinished gun we found in the whole collection, and quite honestly, when I go through anybody's collection, I always find a good number of guns that have either been tampered with or renumbered. We didn't see any of that. Now, we did get some replica guns, but that's different because you're buying a replica. Here's a replica of a 1911. You can see who it was made by. There's no intention to deceive because they put right on there that it's the USFA, United States Firearms Company. They put the name right on there, but this is just a beautiful replica. And he had a good number. There was some single action armies, and there was some Colts. There was also, I think, a 1905 Colt. So these were replicas. But most of what we got were just really high quality guns, the kinds of guns that I like. Now, some of them will go in my safe, others we will be offering on the site. This is something you almost never see because this is very late war. It's just a plain box. If you watch my channel, you know that the boxes usually look like this. There you go. There's a box 9mm. But this box is late war. There's the serial number, and it matches the gun inside. When we open it up, you can see it's very flimsy. But there is a plum-colored PP with the red grips. And I know there's 122 of you who want it right away, and please send it. I'm going to have a hard time parting with this one. And the other one, again, there is a lot of really cool guns. I did show you a party leader. This is a PPK, kind of a standard box, million serial number. Those of you who know wartime and pre-war PPKs know that that's a rare variation, million serial number. And look at the quality of this gun. Now this is resting on the cleaning rod, so I'll have to change that out right away, because if it's resting on metal, it'll rub. And there is the, I can promise you one thing, this is not going to be offered for sale. Just absolutely incredible find. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you were as thrilled as I was, and I hope your hearts are safe. But we want to thank you for coming along with us, and thank the family for opening up their home and allowing us to examine and evaluate these treasures.